My girlfriend's sister convinced her I was cheating, so we would sell our house and split the money, but I found proof it was a scam. So I did this, then kicked her out of my house, throwaway, because my GF knows my main, and I'm honestly paranoid she or her sister might be monitoring it. So I've been with Cynthia for about 2 years now. We met at my buddy Mike's BBQ. He was trying to set us up, and honestly, we just clicked right away. Like one of those things where you meet someone and just know, you know. She moved in with me about 18 months ago when her apartment lease ended, and things have been basically great until about 3 weeks ago when everything went to absolute shit. Some background. I worked my ass off for almost a decade to save for a down payment on my house. My dad lost our family home back in 2008 during the housing crash. He got caught up in one of those predatory loans. Watching him go through that basically scarred me for life and made me super careful about finances. I finally bought my place 3 years ago. Nothing fancy, just a 3-bed, 2-bath ranch that needed some work, which was perfect since I run a small construction business. Cynthia's been contributing to the mortgage since she moved in, even though she's not on the deed. We never really formalized anything, which I guess was stupid in hindsight. Anyway, 3 weeks ago, Cynthia comes home from shopping with her sister Beverly and immediately starts screaming at me about some woman named Amber. I was literally in the middle of making dinner and had zero clue what she was talking about. She shows me screenshots of texts supposedly between me and this Amber person. Super flirty stuff, planning meetups, etc. Then she pulls out a receipt from the Lakeside Hotel from a weekend when I was supposed to be at a contracting conference in Riverdale. She also pulls out a woman's earring she says she found in my work truck. I swear on everything, I've never cheated on Cynthia. Never even thought about it. I have no idea who Amber is, never stayed at that hotel, and have no clue where that earring came from. My crew sometimes borrows the truck, but that's a whole other issue. Important detail. Cynthia's sister Beverly, female, 35, has been staying with us on and off for the past few months since her divorce. She got screwed in the settlement, according to her, and has been between places. I've never really connected with Beverly. She's always seemed kind of manipulative and constantly has money problems, despite supposedly making good money as a pharmaceutical sales rep. She's always asking Cynthia for loans that never get paid back. Ever since this evidence showed up, Beverly has been glued to Cynthia's side. Like, literally hasn't left her alone with me for more than 5 minutes. And now Cynthia is demanding we break up and sell the house, splitting everything 50-50. This makes absolutely no sense to me since 1. I've owned the house for 3 years. 2. I paid the entire down payment. 3. She's only been contributing for 18 months. 4. She's not on the deed at all. I tried to talk to Cynthia about the evidence a few days ago. She was reluctant, but finally agreed to sit down. I pointed out that the texts didn't even sound like how I write. She said people talk differently to their side pieces. When I asked why I would use my regular phone for an affair, she said people make stupid mistakes when thinking with the wrong head. I asked to see the actual texts instead of screenshots, and she said Beverly helped her save the evidence before I could delete them. When I questioned the hotel receipt since my credit card wasn't used, she claimed I obviously paid cash to avoid leaving a trail. Then, Beverly walks in like she was waiting outside the door or something and puts her arm around Cynthia. She told us we should take a break from the conversation. And then, I shit you not, immediately starts talking about how she knows a great real estate agent who can sell the house quickly. The real estate agent, Beverly's college roommate, and Beverly has been pushing for a quick sale. I overheard her on the phone yesterday talking about percentages and a quick turnaround before she saw me and suddenly changed the subject. She keeps bringing up declining market conditions and how we need to strike while the iron is hot. I'm heartbroken that Cynthia believes I'd cheat on her, but something feels really off about this whole situation. My best friend Colin, male, 32, who works in IT security, thinks the texts might be fake and offered to look at them. I know legally the house is mine, but I love Cynthia and I want to understand what's actually happening before I make any decisions. I've lost 5 pounds in the last week from stress and can barely focus on work. Am I crazy for thinking Beverly might be behind this? Has anyone dealt with something similar? Any advice on how to approach this? Now, for the first update. So, a lot has happened since my last post. For those asking, yes, I've been talking to a lawyer, just consultations so far. And yes, I've been documenting everything. And no, I haven't confronted Beverly directly yet because I wanted actual proof first, not just my suspicions. Anyway, here's what's been happening. Cynthia has been super distant this past week, barely talking to me and spending basically all her time with Beverly. They've been having these whispered conversations that immediately stop when I walk into the room. They seem to hate me, in my own house. It's been completely draining. My buddy Colin, we've been friends since 9th grade when we were both the last picks for basketball teams. He was always the smart one and I was the practical one, has been helping me investigate all this evidence Cynthia showed me. First, he looked at those text screenshots between me and this Amber person. Colin works in IT security. I mentioned that in my last post, I think. And he immediately noticed some weird stuff about the screenshots. Like, the battery percentage didn't change at all between texts that were supposedly sent hours apart. And the carrier signal strength was identical in every single image. He showed me how text fabrication apps leave these kinds of traces because they use the same template for every fake message. There were other technical things too. Something about metadata and timestamps that didn't match up. Honestly, it was a huge relief to have actual proof these were fake. I mean, I knew I hadn't sent them, but having someone else confirm it made me feel less crazy. Next, we investigated that hotel receipt. I called the Lakeside Hotel directly after like 3 days of working up the courage and explained my situation to the manager. She was actually really sympathetic. Turns out her ex tried something similar years ago. She confirmed there was a booking under my name for that weekend, but the credit card used wasn't mine. She checked the security footage and it showed a woman checking in alone. The footage was pretty grainy, but the build and hair color, I'm like 99% sure it was Beverly. As my suspicions about Beverly grew, I started looking into her financial situation. I remembered Cynthia mentioning that Beverly had some credit card statements sent to our house, supposedly because her ex was stealing her mail or something. I found several unopened envelopes addressed to Beverly in our mail drawer. I know this is probably morally questionable, but I was desperate, so I opened one. She has over $45,000 in credit card debt across 3 different cards. $45,000. And when I looked up her apartment situation online, the one she got in her divorce settlement, it's listed in pre-foreclosure. So she's basically drowning in debt and about to lose her place. This all started making a lot more sense. After noticing some financial documents had been moved in my home office, I decided to set up a hidden camera in the living room bookshelf. I'm not normally the type to spy in my own home, but I was freaking out and needed to know what was happening when I wasn't around. What I caught on camera was shocking. Beverly came into the living room while on the phone with someone. I heard her say that Cynthia believed the cheating story and that I didn't suspect anything. She said she'd get 30% of Cynthia's half of the house sale for doing all the work. She was going through my desk drawer and taking pictures of documents related to my house. She talked about my house appreciating by at least 40% and that a real estate agent was ready to list it. The worst part, she explained that after we break up, she would move in with Cynthia to support her and mentioned how convenient the timing was with the housing market crash coming and her foreclosure. I felt like I was going to throw up. She's been planning this whole thing. After seeing that, I did some more digging, snooping, whatever, and found emails between Beverly and her real estate agent friend discussing how to expedite the sale and convince them to price under market for a quick sale. There were even references to Beverly receiving a finder's fee. I also found a draft document where Beverly was coaching Cynthia on how to demand 50% despite having no legal claim. I'm still trying to process all of this. The thing is, I still love Cynthia. I'm just not sure if she's in on this or if her sister is tricking her. I've noticed Beverly has been gradually keeping Cynthia away from our friends, always finding reasons why we can't go to social gatherings or why people can't come over. I talked to a lawyer yesterday who confirmed what most of you said. Cynthia has no legal claim to my house, but she advised me to document everything and be very careful about how I handle this. She also suggested I make copies of all evidence and store them somewhere safe, which I've done, both digital and physical copies. So here's my plan. I'm going to gather all the evidence, the fake text analysis, the hotel receipt investigation, the camera footage, the emails, everything, and confront both of them together. I think the only way to get through to Cynthia is to show her exactly what her sister has been doing. I'm so tired and scared and angry and sad. I really thought Cynthia was the one, you know. Now I don't know what to think. Anyone been through something similar? Any advice on how to handle the confrontation? I'm planning to do it this weekend when they're both here. Now for the second update. So the confrontation happened, and holy shit guys, it was even worse than I expected. It's been about 2 weeks since my last post, and I've been trying to process everything before updating. Sorry for the delay, but my head has been a complete mess. I also wanted to wait until I had some clarity on where things stand with Cynthia before posting again. So after my last post, I spent like 3 days barely sleeping while Colin and I organized all the evidence. We made physical copies, digital backups, cloud storage, the works. I was so paranoid about Beverly somehow finding and destroying everything that I literally kept a copy on a flash drive I carried with me everywhere, even to the shower, lol. Those few days before the confrontation were brutal. I kept stress cleaning the house at like 3 a.m., which is this weird thing I do when I'm anxious. I finally texted both Cynthia and Beverly, asking them to meet for an important discussion about the house sale terms, which I figured would guarantee Beverly would show up. I even added some BS about being ready to discuss reasonable options to really sell it. I set up my living room with my laptop connected to the TV so everything would be clearly visible and put folders of printed evidence on the coffee table. I was so nervous, I actually took one of Colin's anxiety meds before they arrived. When they arrived, they both looked so fucking smug it made my stomach turn. Beverly was acting all victorious and Cynthia was just following her lead. I offered them drinks, trying to act normal even though my heart was racing, and we all sat down. Beverly immediately jumped in with, "So you're finally ready to be reasonable about the house." And I just calmly said, I wanted to make sure everyone has all the facts first. The look on her face when I said that, that's when I knew for sure she was guilty. I started with Colin's analysis of those fake text screenshots. I showed them the technical breakdown of how the battery percentage and signal strength were identical in every image, which is impossible for real texts sent hours apart. Cynthia looked confused, but Beverly immediately started objecting, saying it was technical mumbo-jumbo that didn't prove anything. That's when I pulled out the statement from the text fabrication app company confirming the images were created using their software. Beverly tried to interrupt, but I just kept going. Next was the hotel receipt investigation, including an actual signed affidavit from the hotel manager. My lawyer suggested getting this. The manager confirmed there was a booking under my name, but the credit card used wasn't mine, and security footage showed a woman checking in alone who matched Beverly's description. Beverly got loud at this point, talking over me and claiming I was manipulating the situation with fake evidence. Her face was getting red, and she kept looking at Cynthia, trying to get her to agree. Then, I played the video. So, here's something I didn't mention in my last post, because I wasn't 100% sure about it yet. I had a suspicion about that earring that supposedly proved I was cheating. After reviewing some gas station security footage from a place I frequently stop at, the owner knows me from doing renovation work on his store. We found footage of Beverly planting the earring in my truck when I was inside paying. I calmly played this video on the TV. Cynthia actually gasped and turned to Beverly, who started stammering that I was editing videos now, and this proves nothing. That's when I played the recording of Beverly discussing her 30% cut of the house sale. I swear to God, Beverly actually lunged for the laptop, knocking over a glass of water in the process. I calmly told her I had multiple copies and cloud backups of everything. Cynthia went completely silent. In this really quiet, shaky voice, she asked Beverly if it was true. Beverly snapped, "Of course not. He's clearly framing me because he got caught." Then I pulled out the emails between Beverly and the real estate agent. Beverly claimed they were just discussing getting the best deal for Cynthia. She was getting more and more agitated, practically yelling at this point. Finally, I revealed what my lawyer called the checkmate evidence. Forensic proof showing Beverly had forged Cynthia's signature on preliminary sale documents that she'd already submitted to her real estate agent friend. The agent had sent these to my lawyer when we contacted her about the situation. Turns out she had no idea about the scam and was horrified to learn she was being used. That's when Beverly completely lost it. She started screaming about losing everything in her divorce, while her sister got a boyfriend with a valuable house. She basically confessed everything in her rage. Cynthia just sat there for what felt like forever before she quietly asked Beverly how she could do this to her. Beverly's whole defense suddenly shifted to justification, claiming she was just looking out for Cynthia's interests, and that I would have screwed her over eventually anyway. Beverly stormed out after Cynthia told her to leave. She came back later that night demanding to collect her things, which I had already packed up and left by the door, with Colin there as a witness, on my lawyer's advice. I changed the locks that same evening and installed a video doorbell system the next day. The conversation with Cynthia afterward was complicated. We sat on opposite ends of the couch, both of us emotionally drained. She apologized tearfully for not trusting me. I told her I was deeply hurt that she believed I would cheat without even really questioning it. Like 2 years together, and that's how little faith she had in me. She explained that Beverly has always manipulated her since they were kids. Apparently, their parents always favored Beverly, and she learned early on how to twist situations to her advantage. When I asked why she was so quick to believe the worst about me, she admitted something she'd never told me before. Her father had cheated on her mother for years, completely destroying their family when it came out. She has these deep-seated fears about being cheated on that she's never really dealt with. I pointed out that she never shared that pretty important information with me before, and she acknowledged having unaddressed trust issues. I told her honestly that while I still love her, I need time to rebuild my trust in her. When she asked if I wanted her to move out, I said no, but that we needed clear boundaries going forward. I suggested couples counseling, and she agreed immediately, seeming relieved that I was willing to work on things. But I made it clear that while I still love her, I'm wary now. She promised to cut ties with Beverly, but seemed conflicted about it, which I understand. It's her sister after all. In the weeks since, Beverly has made multiple attempts to contact Cynthia, alternating between accusations, apologies, and threats to expose my manipulation to their family. She even sent a certified letter threatening to sue us for expenses while staying with us, lol, but disappeared after my lawyer sent a very strongly worded response outlining all the potential charges she could face for fraud, forgery, and defamation. So where are we now, 3 months later? We've started couples counseling, which is helping, but we still struggle with trust issues. We've remained in the house, but drew up a formal rental agreement acknowledging Cynthia has no ownership claim. My lawyer insisted on this. Our relationship is slowly healing, though I sometimes catch myself checking her phone when she's in the shower or questioning her whereabouts when she's late coming home. Not proud of this. Beverly has apparently moved to another state after their family discovered what she did. Cynthia has started individual therapy to address why she was so easily manipulated and to work through her unresolved issues about her father's infidelity. I still think about how close I came to losing everything. If Colin hadn't helped me, if I hadn't trusted my gut, I don't know where I'd be right now. While Cynthia and I are working on rebuilding, trust is a fragile thing. Some days are better than others.